Hello, everybody. My name is Stephen Rivas. I'm the product manager at WIN-911. Thanks for joining us for the launch of our WIN-911 mobile apps for Android and iOS devices. We've been working on this project for a long time, and we're excited to finally share it with you all. Throughout the webinar, if you have any questions, please feel free to submit them through the GoToWebinar app on the side of your screen. There's a question section there where you can type in a question. At the end of the presentation, we'll try to get through as many of those questions as we can. So I wanted to go ahead and get started with giving you guys a quick history on our experience with mobile apps as a company. For those of you who have been with us for a long time, you may remember back in 2008 when we released our first smartphone apps for Windows Mobile and BlackBerry devices. These apps did not rely on internet connectivity, rather the apps used SMS through cellular modems to communicate with your WIN-911 system. The app more or less served as a wrapper for sending and receiving text messages. And then by 2010, Apple and Android devices had arrived and we needed a replacement. So in 2012, we released Mobile 911 version 2, which was available for Android, iOS, and BlackBerry devices. The new apps connected smartphones and WIN-911 through an internet connection rather than SMS, which meant you had to host a web server, which we called the Mobile 911 server. This server would listen for inbound connections, meaning your deployment of Mobile 911 typically involved coordinating with your IT team to do things like forwarding ports or making firewall exceptions to get everything communicating together. Today, in most enterprise network environments, this is not acceptable to have an inbound or a web server listening for inbound connections and passing them back to your process network. So, and then 2014, we released the new WIN-911 the new WIN-911 platform, which we initially called WIN-911 Enterprise. We now call this Standard, Interactive, and Advanced. This is the version of WIN-911 that the new mobile apps support. Version 7 is not going to be supported by this new WIN-911 mobile app that we're talking about today. Earlier in this year, we launched a beta program for WIN-911 Mobile, which ran from May to the end of July. We had over 100 users participate, and they provided a lot of valuable feedback, much of which we implemented in this release that we're talking about. We couldn't be more grateful to those who participated, and as we move forward with this new platform, we'll continue to incorporate your feedback to improve your experience with the new mobile apps. Which brings us to today, where we are excited to be launching WIN-911 Mobile, and figure we would start the presentation with explaining to you guys what WIN-911 Mobile is. It's a secure hybrid cloud solution for interacting with alarms and reports that facilitates collaboration amongst team members to resolve alarm conditions using mobile devices. In other words, WIN-911 Mobile is our newest notification method for Android and Apple smartphones and tablets, which effectively is replacing Mobile 911. So in order to provide that secure link between your WIN-911 system and mobile devices, we're leveraging Microsoft's Azure cloud services. So I'd like to start with the architecture of WIN-911 Mobile, as that is what we receive the most questions about. There are three components which make up this solution. First one you should be likely familiar with, which is a WIN-911 system. This is an on-prem WIN-911 that you connect to your SCADA system and subscribe to alarm events, and then you send those alarm events out to different notification methods like the WIN-911 mobile app or email or SMS or phone calls. The next piece would be the WIN-911 mobile web services. These are our Azure hosted web services that are going to provide the link between your WIN-911 system and the mobile apps. And then of course we have the WIN-911 mobile apps themselves, which are clients that are going to run on iOS, Androids, and tablets and smartphones. So I wanted to show you guys how these components interact with one another. You can see the three components on the screen. WIN-911's on the left, that would be on your local network. The WIN-911 mobile web services are in the middle, and then the WIN-911 mobile apps are on the right. That's the client, what's running on your phone or your tablet. So we'll start with WIN-911. When a WIN-911 system connects to our web app, it must be authenticated before it can access any of its resources. So to authenticate users, we need an identity provider, and we decided we were going to use Azure Active Directory for this. And this is on our WIN-911mobile.com tenant. So when you purchase or demo WIN-911 Mobile, you will be provided with an Azure AD account or Azure Active Directory account belonging to that tenant. So it'll be something at WIN-911mobile.com. And we call these things WIN-911 Mobile Gateway accounts. So once you've entered your account info in WIN-911 that we provided, it can be authenticated and begin accessing the resources on the web app. So really, this is a very simplified version of that. So when you start WIN-911 or put your details in, it's going to connect to Azure Active Directory. If you are authenticated, you're going to get an access token back. And with that access token, you can then begin accessing resources on the web app. So now that your system's connected to the web app, you can begin adding users to your configuration. Users are the actual mobile clients that you will give to operators. And these users have to be authenticated as well, but this is going to work a little bit differently. The mobile app accounts differ from the mobile gateway accounts, and that they're owned by the individual users of the app. Rather than receiving a WIN-911mobile.com account, users must create their own Microsoft account. When a user is added to WIN-911, you must specify an email address for them. That means everybody is unique within any WIN-911 system. So we then send an invitation to the address provided and ask them to create their own Microsoft account. If the email address is already associated with Microsoft, for example, it could be an Office 365 account, it could be a Hotmail account, an Outlook.com account, an Xbox account, then the invitation is going to ask them to sign in, and then when they sign in, they'll be prompted to allow access of WIN-911 Mobile to their account, so then they can use that account to sign in to the mobile app. So at this point, once you've created that account or allowed access to the WIN-911 Mobile web services, when you sign in to the app, you'll be able to see the WIN-911 system that you were added to, and you'll be able to interact with it and receive alarms or reports or chat with other team members within the application. Come on. There we go. So a little bit more on the architecture I want to talk about. The web app is what is facilitating the connection between your WIN-911 system and the mobile apps. This is important because the mobile devices out in the field do not require inbound access to your network. Rather, both the WIN-911 and the mobile apps communicate only with the web app and Azure Active Directory. Connections to the web app are outbound initiated and use HTTPS. This means that WIN-911 does not listen for inbound connections. Rather, when you start it or you put in your details, it initiates the connection to the web app. And this is important because you won't need to create firewall exceptions for this, and you won't need to do port forwarding to allow the connection back to your WIN-911 system. However, there are environments where there is no internet access on the WIN-911 system at all, and I'll talk about how you can overcome that in the next slide. Apps can only access your WIN-911 system if the account they log in with in the app has been added to your WIN-911 configuration. If you remove someone from your system, they immediately are removed from your WIN-911 system, and when they log in, there will be no WIN-911 system for them to interact with. We also don't store any private information in our cloud servers. It's only there to facilitate the connection between WIN-911 and the apps. All your private data is stored locally in your WIN-911 SQL instance. That's where your WIN-911 configuration is stored. All the WIN-911 mobile configuration is stored there as well. We do not store any of your private information in our web app or our cloud services. All right, so I mentioned this just a moment ago. If you don't have internet access on your WIN-911 system, you can make use of this mobile hub that we created to add a layer of separation between WIN-911 and the internet. This is a separate utility that can be installed on a different network layer, such as your business network or a DMZ. You would then point WIN-911 to the hub, and it's going to serve as a type of proxy to access Azure for you. So if you have multiple WIN-911 systems in your network, they can all use the same instance of the hub. This is a similar feature of the mobile 911 server. So if you have, let's say, two WIN-911 systems, they both need to get out to the internet, they can both point to the same hub, and that hub will get them access to the internet. Traffic still outbound initiated from WIN-911 to the hub, and from the hub to Azure, so you still don't need to do any port forwarding. The connection from WIN-911 to the hub is also protected with Windows authentication. What that means is when WIN-911 goes to communicate with the hub, it's calling a service on that hub and needs to be authenticated. And the way it's authenticated is that if you're in a domain environment on the same domain, you'll just automatically be authenticated. Otherwise, you have to create Windows local accounts that are the same name and the same password. If something tries to access that service and it's not a valid Windows account, then they will not be able to communicate with the mobile hub. So this is kind of what that would look like. This is a graphic of where you'd have your WIN-911 system on your plant network. So you can't get direct access to the internet. So you would point it to this WIN-911 mobile hub, and then the hub itself is what will connect to the internet for you. So now that we've covered the architecture, I want to go ahead and talk about some of the features of WIN-911 Mobile, or the WIN-911 Mobile app. So the first thing we're going to talk about are push notifications, which are how we alert users that there is an alarm, report, or a chat update. It's very similar to a text notification. Pushes allow you to view the alarm information without opening your app. You can acknowledge alarms without opening the app as well. If you have a smartwatch, you'll be able to see pushes on your smartwatch. You can also modify the format of your pushes as they match the format of your alarm details that we'll see in a later slide. And you can modify the format of your pushes within the app. So you kind of got lost track there. You can format your pushes with the alarm details, and I'll show you that in a minute. You can also choose your own notification sounds. With iOS, we've built in a few loud and obnoxious sounds that you can choose from. And this is because when you use an iOS app, you have to package in notification sounds. You can't choose whatever you like. However, with Android users, they're free to choose any sound they like, and they can choose MP3s, WAV files, whatever you want. And this is a big change with WIN-911 Mobile. If you are a customer in China, we will support you guys on Android devices. Pushes will be sent through the Baidu push notification server. So if you are in China, WIN-911 Mobile will work for you there. Do not disturb mode. We receive a lot of requests from over the years about giving operators the ability to suspend notifications temporarily. And we're allowing you to do that, and that's what we're calling do not disturb mode. So what this allows you to do is temporarily suspend pushes to your device. When you're enabling it, you must set a date and time in the app for the notifications to resume. And while you're in do not disturb mode, you can still interact with the app. So if you open it, and you can still see your alarms, you can still request reports, you can chat with other users. This is just suspending the push notifications to your device so that you're not being bothered with alarms while maybe you're on an unexpected day off or on vacation. Now, other team members will be able to see that you're in do not disturb mode, and I'll show you that in another slide, an upcoming slide. Next is the alarm summary. This is where you're going to be able to see the alarms that have been escalated to you or requested by you. The screenshot you're seeing on the screen is for Android, and this is what it looks like for iOS. So this is a live summary list, which unlike mobile 911, it will automatically be updated for you. So when an alarm goes terminal, it will disappear from this list. You don't need to manually delete anything. You can also modify the format of this screen. So if you don't like the details that are being shown, you can choose from a number of alarm properties to be displayed on this list. So this is the alarm summary, and the most recent events are always on top. So most recent on top, and then the older events are moved toward the bottom. If you tap one of those alarms, you'll be brought to the alarm detail screen. This is where you can see the details of an alarm, and as well as its recent state changes within the life cycle of alarm. So a life cycle of alarm is when it goes active and is unacknowledged, to when it goes terminal, which is acknowledged and inactive. So all the state changes between those two conditions will be displayed in this screen. If the alarm goes terminal and then goes active again, you're not going to see that in these details. Is why I want to point that out to you guys. This is what the details look like in an Android device, and this is what it looks like in an iOS device. You can also modify the format of this screen too, so you can choose which alarm properties you're interested in viewing. And you can do this customization within the app. You don't have to do the format editing within WIN-911. So acknowledgements. You can acknowledge alarms from the event details. So you saw that acknowledgement button at the bottom. And when you go to acknowledge an alarm, you can leave an optional comment that other team members can see. So once you submit your acknowledgement, you'll see that it shows the comment that you had written, and now everyone else that had received this notification is going to see that comment. So you can also do a multi-act from the summary screen. So if you're on the summary screen, there's a button on the top right you can hit, or you can just do a long press on the alarm name, and then you enter into this multi-select mode, select the alarms that you want to acknowledge, and when you hit the act button, it starts saying acknowledging alarm. Or you can leave a comment there too, and then it will just acknowledge the alarm, all of them at one time. So if you want to acknowledge a bunch of them at one time rather than going one by one, you can do that here. One other thing to mention, if you don't want your operators to be able to acknowledge alarms, you can disable this on the WIN-911 side. So when you're adding these users to your system, you just don't give them the ability to acknowledge alarms. That brings us to the chat. So we've added chat to the mobile app. This is something that didn't exist in mobile 911 at all. Chat gives everyone an easier way to collaborate or comment or share ideas to resolve problems a little bit quicker. So each alarm instance is going to have its own chat room. So you can see the alarm name at the top of this screenshot. So when the alarm goes away, the chat history goes away. We don't store any of this. While the alarm is active, it's actually stored in your SQL server, and then when the alarm goes away, that chat history goes away with it. When you get a new chat message, you're going to receive a push notification, and if you were sent that same alarm, and when you tap on that push notification, it will open straight to the chat room, so you don't have to look around for the chat you got an update on, or the chat thread you got an update on. Next is team visibility, or the team tracker tab. So that what this tab allows you to do is determine who has been sent an alarm, whether they've seen it, or if they're in do not disturb mode, which is indicated with the icon on the left. You can see those two names with an alarm bell with a line through it. That indicates that they are in do not disturb mode. I don't have a screenshot of this for you guys, but if you tap on any one of these names, it'll actually show you the time that person was sent the notification. It'll also tell you the time they viewed the notification, and if they were to have acknowledged it, it'll tell you what time they acknowledged it as well. So that's the team tracking tab. Yeah. Obviously, there was a question about do not disturb mode. Can you turn it off? If you turn it on, and let's say you set it for a week and that changes, you can just turn it right back off, and then you'll start to receive push notifications again. Reports. So you can view reports within the mobile app. When you go to the report summary list, you'll see all the reports that are configured within your system. So reports allow you to view real-time process values and alarm states on demand. So when you go there, you'll see all the reports that are defined. If you tap on one, it'll show you all the tag values in real time. So when you tap on it, it's at that time that your source module goes and requests these values and then sends them back to you in the mobile app. You can also have WIN-911 push report updates to you if you're using the advanced license. So when an alarm occurs, you can send a report update, and then that will indicate to the operator that, hey, you need to check out this report. One reason you may want to do that is if, let's say, you sent out a tank alarm, and with that tank alarm, you want to send a report, and that report could contain all the value or all the tags associated with that tank. So maybe you can help or get a snapshot of what the tank's doing and maybe troubleshoot the issue a little bit quicker. All right, so this is the format editor. This is within the app. What you can do here is change the alarm summary, alarm details, and the report details from within the app. So what you're doing here is you're enabling and disabling different alarm properties from this list. So at the top, that's what's turned on, and on the bottom is what's not turned on. And then you can use those arrows on the right to rearrange the format. In iOS, it's a drag and drop interface. But then in this Android screenshot, you have to use those arrows. But the iOS screenshot is very similar, but you just drag things from the bottom to the top and from the top to the bottom. Alarm requests allow you to request alarms on WIN-911 system at any time. So for example, if you're coming on shift at 8 o'clock in the morning, which means most likely no alarms were sent to you overnight, you can open the app and request all the alarms in the system to give yourself a snapshot of what's going on. So you can also choose which WIN-911 system you want to request alarms from. So if you're monitoring multiple WIN-911 systems, there will be multiple choice. There will be a drop down here and you choose which system you're requesting your alarms from. You can also specify what label the alarm should match. So if you want to say, I want all the safety alarms, you can check one of those labels, or maybe it's mechanical room alarm, something like that. Then you'll only get sent back those particular alarms. And it'll come back for results, and then you can see all those alarms. Now, when you request alarms, you're now subscribed to those events. So when they change state, you're going to receive push notifications about those alarms changing state until they go back to the terminal state, which again is inactive and acknowledged. So that's alarm request. I just mentioned multi-sites there. So what that means is with a single WIN-911 app or a mobile app, you can monitor multiple WIN-911 systems. So the way this works is that if your login is put in one WIN-911 system, you can add it to multiple WIN-911 systems, and it will, when you open the app, if you're added to a second or a third WIN-911 system, and when you open the app, it'll automatically show up there. So you'll see that in the screen. So here you can see I belong to two systems here, and they're on the left. The one's called demo site, one's called Beto, a wastewater treatment plant. So I belong to two systems here, so I can see alarms from both systems. If I only want to see alarms from one, I can turn one of them off, and that's going to remove those alarms from my summary screen. It's also going to stop them from being, stop push notifications from being sent to me. So it's kind of the same in iOS, it's just in a different spot in the settings screen. Let me go back there. You can see it there at the bottom where it says allow notifications demo site there. All right, in-app feedback. So a lot of times you don't get to hear directly from the operators, and this is a great opportunity for us to get feedback directly from them. So we've provided a way for our users to submit feedback directly to us from the app. So when you open the app, go to the menu, you'll see this feedback option. And with the feedback, you can submit problems to us or suggest an improvement. Maybe you don't like the way something looks or the way something's formatted. You can take screenshots, you can edit those screenshots, you can take videos to reproduce some issue that you may be having, and send that directly to our developers, and then we can make changes as needed. So that's the end of this here too, is feedback in iOS. So that's the end of the features. You have two options. The first option is to use our demo WIN-911 system that is included with the app. So if you go to the App Store and download the app, you'll notice there's an option for a demo, and you can also install WIN-911 and configure it with a demo gateway account. So this is what the demo would look like if you want to just grab the app from the App Store. You'll see that use demo button at the bottom of the screen. It'll run for 15 minutes. It's using a VM that's hosted in Azure to simulate alarms. It's got an OPC connection. You'll see reports configured in there. It has 20 users configured, so 20 of you guys can use it at a time, and then if there's no demo slots available, then you'll just have to wait till somebody else logs out. So you can chat with other people demoing it as well. It's a fully functional demo. It's just simulating alarms from an OPC server. And when you log in, it will go ahead and tell you that it's going to work for 15 minutes. And after 15 minutes, again, it'll stop working, and you'd have to sign in again. If you want to demo it again, just come back to the screen, click use demo, and you can use it for 15 minutes again. So it's a great way to demo it to anyone that is interested in the app without having to set up anything. Just grab the app, hit demo, and then you're using it. If you want to demo mobile with your WIN-911 system, you'll need to update to the latest version of WIN-911, which is version 4.19.17. We released this on on Tuesday. But you'll also need to request a demo account. You can do that if you go to our website, win911.com, go to products and software downloads, and then there will be a form for you to fill out. When you fill out this form, make sure you are checking the box on the bottom right there for send me mobile gateway account. And then someone from our team will send you the sign-in information that will work for 30 days. If you need more time than that, just let us know and we can make this account last a little bit longer than 30 days if we need to. All right, so some licensing information. So this is only available for interactive and advanced licenses, standards not included. Again, just to reiterate, this does not work with version 7. If you have existing mobile 911 license, they'll automatically be converted to WIN-911 mobile, so you don't have to do anything for that. It will be automatic once you install version 4. If you have version 7, you can upgrade to the new WIN-911 if you have a valid support contract. So version 7, this has been going on for a while now. If you're a version 7 user, a pro user, when you upgrade to the new platform, you will get an interactive license. So that's what you upgrade into. And interactive includes 10 seats of WIN-911 mobile. And if you were to upgrade to advanced, that would include 25. Let's see what else. WIN-911, it requires an active support agreement. So this is the biggest change that we've done here, is that if your support agreement is not renewed, then WIN-911 mobile will stop functioning. So when you purchase WIN-911, it will work for 6 months, and then there's annual renewals after that. None of the other notification methods are affected by this. And we will send out reminders to the mobile app users at 60 days, at 30 days, and then the last 7 days until the support agreement expires. And then at that time, you will no longer be able to interact with alarms from your WIN-911 system. I think that's everything there. So yeah, just to reiterate, nothing else is affected by this requirement. It's only WIN-911 mobile. Your voice notification methods, email, SMS, all that will continue to work if you don't carry an active support agreement, which you should. All right. If there's something I haven't covered, it's likely covered in many of the resources we've created for this release. All of this information is available online. We have product overviews, configuration walkthroughs, so you can do a basic configuration. And if you want to do the mobile hub, we have a document for that as well. And then we have knowledge base articles to go with those videos that are up on our website, which is win911.com. We're recording this webinar, so if you're watching this on YouTube, all the links that you see here are in the comments of this video, so feel free to click those. And that is the end of the presentation.